Hey guys, welcome to Herding Little Cows to the Glory of God. This is another homeschooling video, and I'm in the exact same outfit that I've been in for like 4 videos today, but different video. Today we don't have much of a plan because we were waiting for Virginia and Waylon to show up, and we didn't know what time of day that was going to happen. So we're just kind of in limbo right now. So I had a couple questions. This is part 2 of the Q&A. Questions about homeschooling, feel free to keep asking questions down below and I'll make more videos to answer those questions. But one thing somebody asked me about was bad influences. We have to deal with those whether you're in school or maybe even sometimes family, like this person said. And it's hard. There are people that I really enjoy, the parents in the family, and the kids are harder to get along with. There are times that I think this happens with every couple. There are times that you really like the wife and the husband just rubs you the wrong way, like that type of thing. So these bad influences don't just happen in school. But I think what we're talking about with these bad influences are things that you do not want your kids bringing home. Um, Maybe attitudes they're seeing, maybe words they're hearing. And we have had this happen. We have spent time with families where our kids come home saying a certain word or words, and I know exactly where it came from because I've heard it come out of the other kids' mouths. It's a word that my kids wouldn't have heard. And this could be a curse word, or this could just be a word that you guys don't use in your house. So here's what we do. When we are with children who are not a good influence on our children, we keep everybody very, very close. If the mom I was spending time with at the small playground the other day is watching this, this is not about you. But it just happened that we were at a place where there was a small playground. I choose the place where we're getting together or the activity we're doing based on how much free rein I think I can give my own children and how much free rein I think I should give my children with a different group of people. So this mom I was with the other day, we went into a playground that is very small. Like the whole playground is maybe the size of my bedroom. And so mom and I were able to sit on the side and talk and still see everything going on. We could still hear most of the conversations going on. And it's not that we were deeply listening to every conversation, but I would have heard if one of the kids was calling the other kid a bad name or if somebody was hitting each other, those types of things. In this family we were with, there were no incidents except I had to correct my children to my children a few times. Um, but just keeping them closer. So if we had people over here to our house and we were in the house, I would ask all the kids to stay in the living room and do an activity while us parents were sitting in the living room or in the dining room, which is right there where I can hear everything. We have other friends that we spend time with that there are a lot of children in our family, a lot of children in their family, and all of our kids work well together. And there's enough older siblings. I do not expect my kids to parent their siblings, but there's enough older siblings in the group that if somebody's not being nice, they come and tell us. Um, we were with a family, a lot of kids, playing in their backyard one day. Mom and I were inside. The kids were all being fine. And they came in to tell us, the older kids came in and said, could you help us figure out what game to play? Because capture the flag or whatever they're playing isn't working anymore because these two, they named the two, are choosing not to listen to the rules. And those two was one of mine and one of hers. Um, and so we then helped them figure out another game. The big kids didn't have to do the parenting. They were just eyes to tell us, hey, something's going on. And we went and fixed the situation. But I trust that family. Um, and those kids, I always send my kids into a group together. We've also had times where I have become aware of something, whether it's something I heard or someone told me after the fact, where we then talk about the behavior that they have seen. So they witness somebody calling people names, and we go home and talk about that. How does it feel if somebody calls you a name? Do you want to be seen like that child is for calling people names all the time? And we just have a discussion about it. So I think just being very open and honest with your kids and keeping them close. And my kids know that there are times that they're not going to be more than 20 feet from mom and dad because We're doing that to protect them, to help keep them out of trouble, our own children, so that they're not coming home and saying things they shouldn't be saying and getting corrected for it, that type of thing. And it's just something that's a normal conversation in our home. We talk often about how the Bible says that bad company corrupts good morals, and that you're going to go, people tend to go to the lowest common denominator. So if everyone's sitting around having a Bible discussion, things are great. If people are sitting around and one kid starts telling potty jokes and then everyone else joins in and soon we're laughing about nothing, I'm not totally against potty humor, but people tend to go to whatever the lowest common factor is. And depending on that, it can be okay. We were here at home the other day and we were telling stories, and we were going around the room, and one child kept adding pickles to the story, and in another situation another child kept adding fish to the story, which was fine, and they can be kids and they can be fun. But a whole room full of kids without any direction can be disastrous. So that's my what I have to say about bad influences. The other question that was asked of me was two separate questions. And in this case, I think they said their son was 15 and asking about math and writing. Because I said we have a more unschooling, child led approach, and we're not trying to get kids into university. So if this child at 15 is not looking to go to college, what would I do to help along these ways? Well, for math, I would be doing a whole lot of um, like real life math. So, what is your son interested in doing? And then just life. He's going to need to know how to shop. So, learning how to budget for food. And that budget, everybody has a budget. Some people's budget is bigger than others. So, maybe a budget of $10, buy yourself snacks for this week. I don't know where this child is because I don't know this person personally. So maybe it's starting with, here's $10, you can buy whatever snacks you want for the week. When they're gone, they're gone. Maybe it's saying, hey, here's $20. Can you purchase all the food that you would need to make a meal for our family? Maybe it's like we do in our family, and here's a budget like $100 to get 3 days worth of food for our family. Do you think you can do it? There's also a lot of stuff involved money wise in like the family budget. And even if you don't want to give your child the specific, here's our numbers for the family budget, working through different things. Maybe that is our internet is $100 right now. Can we look around and find other companies where that would be a lower cost? And figuring out, like for electricity, figuring out how much per kilowatt hour, and would it be cheaper to do it with another company. In some areas, if you do use electricity at different hours, it's a different rate. So having your child figure out, if we waited to do all the wash until after dark when it's a cheaper price, what would that be? So real world numbers. There are places out there that sell this type of curriculum. It's usually called consumer math, and it goes through taxes and jobs and filling out W-2s. For math for a 15-year-old, if he's trying to get into a certain profession, going for that type of math. But I would also suggest PragerU. I'm not saying PragerU for everything, but PragerU has a financial literacy 101 or something like that, where there's a bunch of videos that talk about taxes and filling out your tax information, whether it's better to rent a home or buy a home, and all the different money numbers that go with that. Really good videos to start talking points of about finances in your house. Another thing for math would be a program called brilliant.org. I think it's brilliant.org. And you can do 2 free lessons a day, or you can pay for the year. They have a Black Friday sale right after Thanksgiving that we purchased for this year, because that's what Samuel is doing for math this year. There's a lot of math concepts that are taught, like being able to make graphs and read data that way. It's a lot of science and math. So there's a geometry class, there's algebra in real life, and those are really good programs to teach those concepts in bite-sized pieces. Also, make sure you check into your state regulations. Some states you need to teach, like for us, I need to teach math every year, but it does not tell me what I need to teach for math. Your state might have stricter guidelines. So go ahead and look at those because I don't know what state you live in. Then this person also asked about writing, getting information down on paper, being able to get your thoughts down on paper. There's a bunch of different ways you can do this. One is just having your child read good literature so that they see good literature. And copy work is a great way to just introduce, because again, I don't know this child. I'm pretending this child is just starting at square one. So it might be way past there. But copying good work. So taking a paragraph from a book, like of a good author. Let's say a paragraph from Pilgrim's Progress, John Bunyan, writing it out using proper punctuation, proper capitalization, talking about why you would use those in those different circumstances, or giving them a book of English where they can look up. So there's like reference books that you can look up when you use a comma, and they can see why there's a comma used in that spot. But if they're starting at square one, have them do copy work of that paragraph, talking about these different points over Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. And then on Friday, have them, like, you dictate to them, reading a phrase at a time or a sentence at a time, and have them write it. This works on their spelling. This works on their attention to detail. This works on their punctuation and all of that. So that would be a way if you're starting at square one, I don't know where to start. Writing to get their own ideas down on paper. One would be if you have a child who's very interested in like storytelling, having them talk to a camera or talk audio, where they can get all their thoughts out and then take the time to write them down on paper. Sometimes people have trouble getting their thoughts from their mouths to the paper because they think faster than they can write. And so I would not suggest like audio to text because then that's doing most of the work for them. But if you were able to have them tell the story to the audio and then have them take the time to write that out while listening slowly to the audio, would be one way you could do that. Another thing is to have them use writing in real life situations. So have them write to the potato chip company that they're really enjoying the new flavor that came out. Have them write to the sneaker company that they're having trouble with the grommets on the shoes coming undone. Have them write to a pen pal. Have them write to their state legislator about something that's important to them, like abortion or food stamps or the housing crisis. Have them write a letter to their favorite author and what they enjoy about that. Have them write to their favorite celebrity or musician. Maybe there's a Christian artist that they are very interested in their music and it's really been beneficial at a certain point in their life. Have them write to missionaries that your church supports or another missionary that you know through somebody. There's so many opportunities to write that aren't writing stories or writing like a speech. There's a lot of people in this world that are really good at writing stories and writing books and writing speeches or talks or lectures. Those are all really good things. But some children are never going to use that because that's not what God has gifted them for or something that they have any interest in doing. But everybody needs to know how to write to get their ideas across. And maybe that's through writing to individual people instead of writing like to the group as a whole. I make these videos to try to encourage other parents in like the broad sense of there's a lot of people out there watching this video. I do something different when I'm talking to an individual. And so this child might just be somebody who's better at talking to the individual and having something where he can write a letter to grandma, write a letter to the elderly lady that goes to church and give it to her on Sunday morning. That would put a huge smile on her face. There's a lot of opportunities to write that don't involve writing a book, writing some. There's a difference between writing a letter because you enjoy a product or you want to tell something to an individual person than making up a story in your mind. And I think we equate the two have to be on the same timeline, and they don't, because some people just aren't imaginative in that way. So I hope that was helpful. We'll see you guys next time on Herding Little Cows to the Glory of God. If you like this video, please give it a like or a thumbs up or those types of things. I never say that at the end of videos, so I've been reminded. So we'll see you guys next time on Herding Little Cows to the Glory of God. Bye.